Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Bowling. I want to talk about something that's really been getting on my nerves right now for the last few weeks now. Several weeks ago, there was a MMA fight that was conducted by a transgender male who fought against a biological female in MMA, and he beat the female. I mean, I think he hurt her pretty bad. And I did a video on this several weeks ago, and I gave my spin on a different aspect on this ideology that's going to be different than it is today. I want to talk about something that's really grieving me, because this is supposed to be a group that's supposed to be all about women's rights. My question is this: where were the feminists when this woman, this biological female, was being beat up by this transgender male? My opinion on that, the reason why I believe he won was, or she won, he, she, whichever you want to call it, the reason why I believe the transgender male won was because biologically he's physically stronger than the female. And so clearly, far as I'm concerned, he won based on that fact. And this is not the only incident. We all know that there's been other incidences where transgender males, biological males, or transgender males have fought biological women in the MMA and have beat them. And most people stand on the ground that the reason why these transgender males beat these biological women was because they're physically stronger by nature. Whether you believe in the theory of evolution or whether you believe in God or whatever the case may be. If you believe in God, God created them that way. If you believe in evolution, evolution created them that way. Blame it on God, blame it on evolution, whichever way you want to put it. That's the way they are. They're not the same biologically. And it disturbed me. I'm saying, well, man, what's going on here? What I want to talk about is, in this video, I want to ask a fundamental question. Where were the feminists when all this happened? Why aren't the feminists crying out and saying this is not fair? These women are being beat down. You hear these feminists crying and hooping and hollering about equal rights and women power and equal rights for women and so forth. Why aren't they crying out about this? Why aren't they protesting against this? Why don't you see any of this on CNN? Why aren't the representatives of the radical feminist movement, why aren't they saying anything about this? And I believe that the reason why radical feminists, not regular feminists, I'm not against women's rights, but I am against radical feminism. I believe that the reason why the feminists have not come forth and said anything about this is because these transgender men, in my opinion, are playing right into the game that radical feminists want. Now, you may ask, what do radical feminists want? What radical feminists want is to completely eradicate the image of the male and replace it with the female. In other words, as one writer said it, radical feminism aims to destroy the patriarchal male who is deemed to be the head of the society and replace it with a matriarchal female. If you look at a lot of these movies, and I got into a debate about this on my Facebook page. And I was talking to some people and they was upset about, it was just crazy, but I don't want to go into that. You can go on there, and talk and look at that on your own. But I got into a discussion with someone on my Facebook page about this whole idea that if you look at a lot of these movies that are coming out recently, a lot of these big major Hollywood movies, whether they're action, comedy, horror, or whatever, if you look at a lot of them, you see a pattern. And the pattern, not all the time, but most of the time, well, I say a lot of the time, not all the time, the pattern is that men are presented as idiots, weaklings, evil, oppressive, toxic, all these type of things men are presented as, and the women is presented as the saviors of the day. The women is seen as innocent saviors without any flaw, without any problems, and all the men are berated and dogged out, and they're just evil and they just toxic and all these type of things. You see a pattern. I believe that many of these movies The screenplays, I believe, are written by either men that support radical feminism or radical feminists themselves. They're writing these characters into these movies in order to change the image of men, to destroy the image of men in the subconscious of the viewers and promote the image of the female, that she will be the one leading. Okay, now this is my opinion. This is just my opinion, but it's my opinion based on my studies. Okay, you can give your own opinion. That's my opinion. Okay. So where are the feminists in this? And as I said, the reason why I believe that they're not saying anything is because transgender males are playing into their game of eradicating the image of the male in this society. Now you may ask, what do you mean by that? A transgender male is trying to be what? A female. Right? He, she, whatever way you want to put it. I mean, he or she, they're not trying to be a male. So they change themselves up to be a female. That's why I believe that they fight in these MMA, fight these women in these MMA fights, because they're trying to be, they're trying to be females among other things. Okay. That plays right into the mindset or the agenda of radical feminists. Because if the image is to destroy, if the objective is to destroy the image of men, then why do radical feminists need to protest against biological men fighting biological women in an MMA? They're doing, these transgender men are doing exactly what they want them to do. So why protest? I believe they're not protesting or not speaking out against it. It's because transgender men are playing right into their game. Radical feminists are in full support of transgender men, not because they believe in equal right, not because they believe that you have a right to choose to be whatever you want to be. As I said in the previous video, you have a right to choose to be whatever you want to be. And I'll say it again. I have no problem. Listen to me good, because I've had this comment. I've seen this in the comment section, people dogging me out. And I want to say this. Please don't put no name calling in the comment section. If you put name calling, if you're calling me names and everything, I'm going to blot you out. Be respectful. Okay. I'm giving you my opinion, give your opinion, but give it respectfully. Thank you. But here's the thing. If you want to be, if you're a man and you want to be a woman or whatever, a woman, or if you're a woman, you want to be a man, that's your choice. I personally don't care. It adds nothing to me. It takes nothing from me. I don't care. I mean, why would I be worried about what you want to do with your life? I have no say so over there. You have free will. You have the right to choose to be whatever you want to be. If you want to be an animal, they actually have there's a thing called trans species. Some of you may have heard of that. Trans species is literally when a person wants to change into an animal. They want to be an animal. That's what trans means. Trans, T-R-A-N-S, means to change form. That's why it says transform. Somebody made the comical statement about these trans men as transformers, because that's what it is. It's basically you just trying to change your, you changing form. Okay, so they have trans species. You can change if you want to be an animal or dog, you have that right. If you want to be an apple, a pear tree, or a piece of wood, you have that. I don't care. I don't care. I'm just asking a question, and I'm just giving a statement, an opinion, and that is, I believe that the reason why transgender men are not being opposed by radical feminists is because transgender men who fight in these MMA fights against biological women are playing into the game of radical feminism, which is to eradicate the image of the patriarchal male. They want feminine men that are feminine to radical feminists, men that are feminine and effeminate, or whatever you want to call it, and they're soft-spoken and they don't believe in strong leadership. Radical feminists, they love that. They love that because you're going to be less authoritative. You're going to be less assertive. You're not going to be willing to take the lead in issues and situations that need to be taken the lead in. You're not going to take the lead in the home. You're not going to say, son or daughter, you shouldn't do this. You're not going to take disciplinary action with your children if you're in a home. You're going to sit back and pet, I don't want to do that. That's what you're going to do. And that's what radical feminists want. They want men like that. They don't want strong men. They want weak-minded men because it plays into their agenda. They want to replace you, not regular feminists. Radical feminists want to replace you. Wake up, brothers. Wake up, brothers. Wake up, men. This is what they want. Now, I'm going to end this on an article that I read to support my belief, to support my opinion on this. I'm going to read an article that I read support this idea, this belief that radical feminists want to destroy the image of men, patriarchal men in our society, and replace it with a matriarchal female society. This is from a person by the name of Dr. Gerald Atkinson. Dr. Gerald Atkinson. And it says the Frankfurt School, she says, this individual says the Frankfurt School studied the authoritarian personality, which became synonymous with the male, the patriotic head of the American family. Before I read any further, some of you may or may not have heard of the Frankfurt School, but the Frankfurt School was a psychological school of Marxism that was, I believe, founded in Germany in the 1920s and 1930s. And basically, the Frankfurt School was a group of Marxist teachers and instructors whose one of their aims or goals was to destroy not only Christianity in America and in other Western countries, but also to destroy the image of the strong male, because they believe that in order to bring in Marxism/socialism/communism, they had to destroy the image of the male in the family. They had to destroy the image of the leader, because now that you don't have any leader, you fracture the family, and you fracture the family, it's easier for Marxists, communists, and socialists to take over and feed the mindset of the young people coming up with this idea of embracing Marxism, socialism, communism. That's the goal. So it goes on, it says, a modern utopia would be constructed by these idealistic intellectuals by turning Western civilization upside down. And I want to say something real quick about the authoritarian personality. The authoritarian personality is simply a reference to a male that is a strong male. He's a strong leader. You know a strong leader when they come into the room. A strong male, they don't have to say nothing. They come in the room and you know they strength emanates from them. It flows from them. You know them when you see them. That's what they're talking about. They want to destroy that. Radical feminists want to destroy that image. This utopia will be a product of their imagination, a product not accessible to criticism on the basis of the examination of evidence. This revolution will be accomplished by fomenting a very quiet, subtle, and slowly spreading cultural Marxism, which would apply to culture the principles of Karl Marx, bolstered by the modern psychological tools of Sigmund Freud. Thus, cultural Marxism became a marriage of Marx and Freud aimed at producing a, quote, quiet revolution in the United States of America. This quiet revolution has occurred in America over the past 30 years while America slept. The authoritarian personality studied by the Frankfurt School in the 1940s and 1950s in America prepared the way for the subsequent warfare against the masculine gender promoted by Herbert Marcuse and his band of social revolutionaries under the guise of, get this now, women's liberation and the New Left movement in the 1960s. The evidence that psychological techniques for changing personality is intended to mean emasculation of the American male is provided by Abraham Maslow, founder of Third Force Humanist Psychology and a promoter of the psychotherapeutic classroom, who wrote that, quote, the next step in personal evolution is a transcendence of both masculinity and femininity to general humanness, end quote. The Marxist revolutionaries knew exactly what they wanted to do and how to do it. They have succeeded in accomplishing much of their agenda. And there you go. In summation, it's all about destroying the image of the male. And however way that can be done, radical feminists are in full support of it. So if you got these transgender men wanting to fight biological women in the MMA fights, they're okay with that. They're not going to speak out against it. Why should they? You're helping these transgender men, whether they know it or not, are helping radical feminists push their agenda of totally emasculating authoritarian men. That's what I personally believe that is. So I just wanted to get my spin on that because it's been edging me and edging me and edging me. Listen, if you guys have any comments, put your comments in the comment section. What is your view on this? What do you think about all of this? Please, once again, be respectful. No name calling. Just give your opinion. That's my opinion. Give your opinion, and we can have a discussion about this. One other thing before I close. Remember this. This is a conservative news site. Okay? I don't want to see all the name calling. I don't want to get into all of that. We want to be respectful. I'll try my best to respectfully answer your objectives the best way I can. But please, no more name calling. But if you have any comments, please make your comments be known. What do you think about all of this? What do you think about transgenderism or transgender males fighting biological women? MMA, do you think that's fair? I don't think it's fair. You know I don't think it's fair. And my question is, where were the feminists? Where was the feminists at in all of this? When they see these women getting beat up by these biological men, where are they at? I've given you the answer for that, in my opinion. So please leave your comments in the comment section. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you, and see you again on RCB News.